Hello and welcome to yet another special episode of APAC Dialogue. APAC Dialogue is a special program by APAC News Network to bring to you inspiring stories of inspiring individuals. My name is Sudhir Gautam. I'm the editor with APAC News Network and head for the entire South India. And my team and I are very glad to bring to you today's speaker, who is a compassionate doctor turned public servant. She is a 2014 batch IAS officer, one of the top 50 IAS rankers. She's also an accomplished writer. She's also a singer. She's also an actor. She dons many hats, and we'll get to know through by our own words. And please join me in welcoming Dr. Divya S. Iyer. She is currently holding the position of Mission Director, National Rural Employment Scheme with the government of Kerala, and she's also the Mission Director for the AYUSH department for the National AYUSH Mission with the state of Kerala. Welcome, Dr. Divya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Satish.
Nice connecting with you after so many years. It's been an honor to associate with you over the years. And today we are in this candid conversation. We would like to know, how did this corona pandemic affect your life personally and professionally so far?
So we start with a bang, is it? Yes. So we know corona virus is here, and it's not something that we can avoid. So we as a family and in my office as well, we were inflicted with COVID-19 disease a few weeks ago. So we had to undergo the quarantine and the treatment, and now all of us are finally out of it. This is one disease that actually gives an insight into the way we live in our society. How we connect to each other, how we relate with each other, and how much we are there for each other. So this is a time to actually show to everybody out there how much they mean to you. And even while maintaining social distancing, I think it's important that we all stay together, connected, and stand together in this fight against COVID-19. And that's exactly what we did, both in my office as well as in my family. It really helped us strengthen our ties as we fought this disease together. And we have come out of it successfully, but that doesn't mean that the incident or the event or the journey of COVID-19 actually ends there, because it's not only about your own health and your own well-being here. You have to ensure that everybody around you is well, everybody around you is healthy. And the more you promote that and the more you contribute towards that, the healthier your life gets. So this is something inevitable that all of us would be facing from time to time in the form of various diseases or pandemics. And I think this is one phase where we can actually, utilize this opportunity to stand united.
We are glad that you're back, and there was enough positive environment around you. You can come back even in your office and also at your personal front. So now we would like to start with your personal journey. First, we would like to know your studies and where did your younger days go and how?
I was born and brought up in Thiruvananthapuram district of Kerala. Though we have our forefathers in state of Tamil Nadu, both my parents were also born in Kerala. But I'm glad that I share, the shared culture of both the states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu as far as our daily lives and our living and celebrations and everything goes. So it's almost like a double dhamaka, because we get to celebrate both festivals of Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu. We get to eat food of both Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu. We get to learn and talk both the languages seamlessly, both Malayalam and Tamil. So it's got its own positive advantages. So I think that made my childhood more interesting. And I studied in a school here called Holy Angels Convent from my kindergarten days to my 10th standard, and after that 11th and 12th I moved over to St. Thomas Central School here. So all of that happened in Trivandrum. It was a rather eventful childhood. Just to put it in a nutshell, I think I would just say that it was all about exploring myself and the world around me, especially in the field of art and culture. So I think, every time I actually got onto the stage to perform something, it really gave me the thrills. And but more important was the preparation before the performance, which I really enjoyed. So going to the class to study music or to study dance or to rehearse a drama, everything just gave so much of warm memories. So I think that was the highlight of my childhood as such. But more importantly, I guess I was also a child who really liked studying, which I don't know how many to actually say, but I distinctly remember that I would really look forward to new books and new stories and new chapters. And I was children who actually got to study. That's something that I enjoy doing. And I did not study just for the sake of studying or for getting marks. Is what I can gather from my memory. So yes, that's my experience about my childhood in a very very precise manner. So once I finished my 12th standard, I moved over to Christian Medical College, Vellore, where I did my MBBS. Which opened so many new doors and avenues of life to me. It was, in fact, a life-changing experience being associated with that institution and actually, staying there for about 6 years. So it's a wonderful place, and that has taught me to look at life and the events that happen in life in a certain fashion, which I think is very rare to sort of behold from any other place other than CMC. So, and soon after that, actually, I came back to Trivandrum to start preparing for civil services. And yes, then there I am here right now. So I did not get
Wonderful.
services in my first attempt, so I had to devote a couple of more years for that, and then here I am now. So,
That's amazing. So you are multilingual. How many languages do you know?
I definitely know 4 languages, to read and write and communicate. So Malayalam, Tamil, English, and Hindi. So those are the 4 languages I know. I think decently, and barely a bit of Telugu or Bangla, Bengali for survival. I know. I learned from my patients because I was in CMC, and we used to get a lot of patients from West Bengal as well as from Andhra Pradesh. So in order to communicate with them, definitely I did learn a bit of those 2 languages as well. But yeah, I love languages.
Yeah, same here. I do learn. I love learning languages. It has its own advantages of connecting instantly with the people from
Yes.
other states. సో మీరు డాక్టర్ అయ్యారు. దాని తర్వాత all of you have become a civil servant, ఒక IAS officer అయ్యారు. So what was that moment, or what was the drive behind from becoming a doctor to a IAS officer?
So since you asked me about my childhood, I think we should start from the very beginning again, because the idea or the inkling of an idea to become an IAS officer actually was seeded in me when I was a small child. I would say it was probably when I was in my lower primary school. So there was this merit award ceremony where I was slated to receive a prize from the chief guest, who was Dr. Babu Paul IAS. He is a legendary IAS officer of Kerala Cadre. Unfortunately, he's no more with us. He passed away earlier this year. A great loss to the to cadre and to the entire humanity, I would say. Um, but nevertheless, so I was fortunate enough to actually receive that prize from him at that young age. And when I listened to him actually deliver the inaugural address that day, I was, I think I would have been, enthralled by his sheer presence and personality and the truth of his words. And that day, I told my parents that I want to become someone like this someday. I want to become someone like him. And then, I figured out that he's an IAS officer, obviously. But at that point of time, I was probably too small to even realize what those three letters stood for. But nevertheless, the dream was seated with me on that day. And I carried along that dream with me wherever I went. And somewhere along the line, I think probably when I was in high school, class 7 to class 8, somewhere around that time, I literally fell in love with the subject called biology. As I said, I was a child who liked to learn, and I think biology really captivated me from all corners possible. And I told myself, or at that point of time, the curiosity in me actually told me, if you don't understand the science or the reason behind your own survival, which is what biology actually teaches you, of how you survive and how the nature around you thrives. So I see that is a fundamental knowledge that any human being should have. Probably, understand your body and understand how it works and understand how the nature around you works. And that is probably how you start to learn other things. So that point of time, I felt that it was really fundamental to my existence and to my process of knowledge accumulation. And I said I want to serve people as well. So these were my two passions at that point of time. So I said MBBS is something where both these passions actually culminate. I get to get a hands-on experience on how the entire human body works, as well as I get to serve people. So I decided that I would do my MBBS, but as I said, the dream of becoming an IAS officer was still there with me. I said, let me go with the flow and decide, what would happen to that dream as life moves on, and probably when the right time comes in, I will hop onto that boat. So that's what I did. And when I was in CMC Vellore, I have to really thank my, my then directors and administrators and all the leaders and all my teachers at Vellore as well, who actually fostered that the administrative traits in me at that point of time, and actually helped me nurture some leadership skills at that point of time there. And they really encouraged me to actually get into public health administration and health administration and all, so that I really didn't lose touch with this string of dream even at that point of time. And soon after that, I think my experience in Vellore actually told me that we actually have a very good public health department, a community medicine department in CMC Vellore. So the ground realities as to what exactly prevents a lot of our, say, schemes or a lot of our benefits from reaching the right person at the ground level was so visible to us at that point of time as young medical students, when we would go out to the field, when we would go out to the villages and stay with the people there and conduct medical camps and interact with them, etc. So I think all those experiences finally led me into making that decision of widening the scope of my service and my interest in public service. So that is when we finally decided to take the plunge and get into civil services.
Great, amazing. So there is something now you'll have to mention about. You are a doctor. You are an IAS officer, public servant, uh, and you're also a writer and singer. What is your passion? What is your interest? What is that? How do you divide? And how do you term it? What is your passion and what is your work interest? You can now tell us. How do you
Well,
identify them?
I think all the pursuits that you mentioned definitely are my passions, and I am passionate about everything that I do, and every activity that I indulge in. And that's one thing I always tell students when they come and ask. what is the goal or what is the dream that we have to follow. Uh, I would always say that whatever you end up doing, be passionate about it and completely enjoy what you're doing. And no day at your work should actually feel burdensome to you. And to a large extent, it is up to you to make it interesting as well. So definitely, my profession is my passion. Medicine is my passion. Music is my passion. Literature is my passion. Children are my passion. Public service is my passion. So there is a lot of pursuits are my passions. I would never be able to point out to one single pursuit or one single hobby. But one thing I can definitely say is that whatever you're doing currently, at this point of time, the interview is my passion, or I'm completely enjoying doing this. And when I'm at my work, that is my passion, and I completely immerse myself into fulfilling my duties at work. So that's one thing that I strongly believe in, that whatever, how many ever pursuits you have, how many ever hobbies you have, how many ever duties you have in your life, whatever you're doing at one point of time, give yourself completely to that, as if there is no coming back. So, give yourself completely to that, and you will definitely be able to enjoy it, and you will be able to deliver your best at that point of time to that particular pursuit or that particular activity. So, yeah, passions keep on changing, I suppose.
So yeah, we can make it out. The secret mantra is to give out, dedicate yourself to whatever you are doing. You will certainly succeed in that.
And enjoy yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. Enjoying. So first, I would like to come to music. Uh, what have you done so far in terms of music, singing, and music? Uh,
I've been learning music from since my childhood, and I think all put together, probably I've learned it for over a decade. And I have conducted concerts here
it's
in
sorry to
Carnatic,
interrupt, Carnatic
yeah,
music
yeah,
vocals.
yeah, Carnatic music vocal. So as a child, I used to learn guitar. I used to play guitar as well, but that's probably one pursuit which I dropped somewhere along the way. I don't know if I'll be able to play it if I pick it up again, but I've not been doing that lately. But singing, yes, I've been doing all along, and everywhere I went to, I made sure that I grabbed every opportunity to carry along music with me and learn something new from every place, from every academy or every institution that I've been to. So, yes, music has always been a constant companion, I would say, whether I'm singing or whether I'm humming or whether it's, somewhere in the background. So I enjoy all kinds of music. It's not only Carnatic music, it's just that I'm formally trained in Carnatic music, but I have been singing, film songs to Hindustani music, to Carnatic music, to light music, to poems, to all. I love all kinds of music, and
Music.
yes, and I think even during my civil service preparation, probably music really played an important part, because I was one of those people who would actually get up in the morning and put on the All India radio at 6 in the morning when the Subhashitam starts, and the radio would go on till 11 at night when they would actually shut the station down. And I would, the radio and the music and the conversations of the radio would be a constant companion to me even when I would be studying. So that's something which was found a bit, bizarre by a lot of people, as to how can you actually focus on your studies when something is going around like that behind you. But I think that's always had a calming effect. And if not for the radio, it would be, music on my laptop or my phone, or it would always be there in my life. And even today, I love to have music, sometimes even in my office. Just some ambient instrumental music really makes a world of difference to the kind of calmness and positivity that a place or a room exudes. So, yeah, music has been in the air always.
So actually, music helps in increasing your concentration being focused. It is said actually like that.
Yes,
What
yes, definitely, definitely. Especially during my preparation time for civil services, I think it really helped me because long days of studies and uh, sustaining perseverance, or sustaining your interest in studies, and sustaining your spirit for moving towards that goal is very, very important in civil service preparation, because it's unlike any other examination. This is an examination that requires you to dedicate or slice away at least 1 year of your life for the examination itself. So, with the minimal amount of preparation, also, if you're going to actually crack the exam, you would still require, a few months of preparation. Then your preliminary exams, the main exams, and the personality test. All three of them together would now span something just over 6 months, but earlier on it was one whole year. So just the examination process goes on for that long. It's not about performing on a single day. It's not like the entrance examination for medicine or engineering or MBA or any other course for that matter. So wherein you have to perform, you have to distill all that you have studied and deliver your best performance on that one single day or 2 days or maximum 3 days, but not for one entire year. But here you need to be at your best for one entire year at different phases, and that is the most challenging part about civil service preparation. So I think, yeah, as you said, my secret was partly to rely on music to help me sustain that positivity and to sustain that energy level within me. Because all of us are human beings. We do have, our views, and we do have the days when we are down and out. We do have days when we just wake up and feel, oh my God, this is just not mine. I'm just not going to do it. Or, will I ever be able to crack it? And, all kinds of chaos and confusions land upon our heads on some weird days. So, especially on those days, definitely music is a stress buster. Even otherwise, it just adds to the merry as far as I'm concerned. So.
amazing. So you also acted in certain serials or movies. I'm not sure. You are also a accomplished writer. Can you please tell us about that?
Yep, I was. I think I got into acting as young as 5 years of age or so, but not really on screen. It was on stage at that point of time. I used to do some solo plays, and we have an art form called Katha Prasangam in Kerala, in Malayalam. So, which is basically portraying a story. It's a storytelling through enacting drama and enacting the various characters in the story, sprinkled with music, songs in between. So that's one art form which I really loved as a child, and I think performed many a time. And apart from that, we used to take part in our dramas, and I'm sure all of us have had those experiences in school, plays and dramas and all that. So, but apart from that, for serious acting pursuits, I would say later on in life, again, drama, I carried along drama with me to places that I went to, and I think one of the most memorable moments for me was at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration in Missouri. So after I got into the IAS, during our training, we had drama competitions, and so I could actually enact two dramas there in Missouri. Both were on issues revolving women and the challenges and the struggles women face in their lives. So the first one was, around the Nirbhaya case, the most unfortunate incident during our time. So that was the first drama where I played Nirbhaya herself, and the second drama was regarding female infanticide, which was actually inspired from a story that our minister, Smriti Irani madam, had narrated in one of her speeches. So we took a cue from that, and we enacted, in fact, I wrote that play, and we enacted it. And again, that was a very, very touching and warm response I received for that. Apart from the award for the best actor at the academy as well. So, those were like my really memorable moments when it comes to acting. It's not about, the award or the event per se. It is about how strongly we can actually communicate through the art form, and that is the biggest reward for an artist who really loves his or her art, I would say. So the very fact that the message was, actually brought tears to the eyes of people who watched it was, I think, the greatest reward for me at that point of time. After that, actually, once I came back to Kerala, I acted in a movie called Elia Machide Aditya Christmas, and so I could actually share screen space with doyens of Malayalam cinema, Srimati KPSC Lalita and Sri Madhu. So both of them are legendary actors here, award-winning actors here, and so this was again a medium for communication to me. I was also at that point of time I was the president of the Senior Citizens Tribunal in the Trivandrum district, alongside being the subdivisional magistrate here. So, as the president of the Senior Citizens Tribunal, it was, it was a tremendous amount of responsibility towards, the neglected senior citizens of my district, and that is again another responsibility which I really loved delivering in my own small ways, which I could. And as part of that, I also decided to do this movie because this movie was about an old age home, wherein the protagonist, would be actually sort of, footballed around by her children, and the struggle that she goes through, and all the memories that actually flood her every time she wants to see her children, who would not really bother about her at that point of time after snatching away the wealth from her. I mean, it's the story is it doesn't have any suspense or thrill or stunt scenes or anything of that sort. It's just a very plain, heartwarming story about an old woman, and I played the nun, the sister who actually runs the old age home. So it was about the chemistry or the relationship between the protagonist and this sister Gio Maria, and how she tries to solve the problems of this woman. And actually the protagonist is only symbolic of hundreds or thousands or lakhs of other parents like that across the country. So yeah, it was a movie with a social message. It wasn't really a commercial venture as such. So all of us did it just for the love of the art, as well as for driving across this message.
So it was not very hard for you to get in the character, since you already were heading that old age home. Uh, that
Uh, yes, actually, during the shoot, I had not yet become the presiding officer. It was soon after that I became this. But I think to get into the character, it wasn't too difficult for me. One, because I studied in Holy Angels Convent School, and I really, adored my sisters, all the nuns there, who actually encouraged me to do a lot of things as a child, and who have influenced me a fair bit. So I always had them in my mind when I put on the habit. And secondly, regarding regarding the old age home message, I think I have been associated with several care homes and old age homes much before that, and even during my training time, I have spent a considerable amount of time with them. So it definitely wasn't relate with the whole concept. That's the only reason I actually decided to go ahead and do it.
what was the reaction of your sisters back in the screen the same time?
Yeah, they were extremely surprised and at the same time very, very heartened to see you such a role. It wasn't like a commercial venture, which would actually get involved in anything. So, they had special screenings for select group of people, and yes, it did make my features, and mostly it was for a lot of and well. So we took all of them in the district, and them. And during the day, I could see many of them actually well up and connect with it so immensely. And some of them, would actually come every time somebody sees the movie. Someone who lives in an old age home who would see the movie would come and hug me and cry. And so when instances like that actually happen, I'm failing in my words to actually describe how one feels when something like that happens, because you are actually overwhelmed by emotions at that point of time. And to be able to, that's exactly what I told you in the previous question, to be able to reach out to so many people, or to be able to connect with so many people through art, I think it's a big blessing. And it's probably a medium which still remains underutilized in our society, I would say.
Yeah, that's an amazing this thing. It's heartening for those who also connect with you, I think. What is your state of mind when you are in the character, be it in the drama or in this?
I think I have always forgotten myself when I'm in the character, as in I forget that I am Divya, Iyer, or whoever I am. Yeah, I'm just the person who I play. To put it simply, that is my state of mind. I am the person whom I play. Yeah. Nothing more and nothing less. So whatever it takes to become that person, I think I try and become. You're asking so many questions about acting that I really want to get back to acting now.
So I think this part of yours, where you have, there's so much of creativity, creative Divya Iyer within, and there is also an administrative IAS officer. So to a larger extent, this creative side is helping the officer IAS Divya Iyer, taking help from the creative, help from the creative Divya Iyer.
Yes, of course. I don't think there are these watertight compartments in my mind. It is, there's a constant interaction between the various facets of one person. I don't think it applies just to me. It applies to probably everybody. And there are a lot of people out there who do a lot of things, who juggle with a lot of responsibilities and duties and pursuits all the time. And for all of them, I feel that to think that you completely cut off from the rest of who you are at any point of time is a bit unreal. Except for, I did say that I forget who I am when I'm acting. But that's like, when you deliver the performance, yes, of course you do. But apart from that, you're still the same person. Apart from when you're actually on the stage and when you're delivering, or when you're actually on the stage and you're singing or speaking, or when you're in the forefront actually delivering something, yes, you do. But otherwise, as far as the person goes, it is there's a constant equilibrium between the various facets of each person. And for me, definitely the creative side has helped me in several ways. And the most important way being that it helps me transform the energy that I actually derive from my creative pursuit. And that energy shows up in my, in my profession, I suppose, or in my personal life. And I see it as a means of channeling your inner energy. And there's always that law of conservation of energies within a human being as well. So I think when you actually garner a lot of energy from your creative pursuits. So creative pursuits, as opposed to popular belief, are not actually exhausting in a mental or an emotional way. Physically, sometimes it might be exhausting when you have hours together of practice or preparation or anything like that. But I think mentally and emotionally, any creative pursuit actually charges you up a lot, which means that you garner a lot of energy from that, and it's kind of you transfer that energy, or you transform that energy into a different form of energy, and you apply it to your studies or work or your personal life or wherever it is. So that's how I see it, and that's how it works for me. So I am happy engaging in creative pursuits because it does help me become a better performer at work, become a better person at in my personal life, etc. So,
That's amazing. If I'm not wrong, you also have sung some message song, a social song during the election, voting related election time.
yes, so this was during my training period as the assistant collector in Kottayam, district of Kerala. So we had our elections coming up that year, and I was given the charge of sweep, which is about voter education. So we were asked to explore all possible ways, which would be creative and fun way in which you would nudge the voters to actually get out of their homes and go and vote on the D-Day. So that was a task given to us, and I found it really interesting. And we formed a really good team at that point of time of people who who really wanted to work and give their best and do their best to actually make this whole venture successful. So it was more than a task for us. It was more like having a startup or something for us, because we would really sit down and brainstorm and see and figure out what can we do next, where can we go next, how can we ensure that this message reaches across to all sections of the society, to all the people out there who are in the fringes, who are in the forefront. So one of the ideas was to actually again reach out to people through music. So as I said, since it is always there with me, that's probably one of the first pit stops where I go to, and so I decided that why don't we actually make a song? So again, it was more than just a task for us. So when I met these college students, I had gone to a college for some interaction, and I met this bunch of students who were really passionate about music, and they decided to sort of cooperate with me, with my team, in order to make this song. And so it was with a bunch of college students that I did it, and we definitely loved it to bits. Every minute of our preparation and our recording and shooting and everything. So yeah, but we really didn't expect so much of warmth and response from people around us when we did it. But we are extremely happy that it did well, and most of the students who worked with me at that point of time actually now have a career in music. So I am extremely glad for them.
That's wonderful. So every moment there was a moment of enjoyment in whatever you were doing. Actually, uh, you are also an accomplished writer. Would you like to tell us about that? And when do you get time? What is the best time you think is for writing?
um, I don't know if I can call myself an accomplished writer, first of all, but yes, I do love writing. And the first book that I wrote or edited was called Pathfinder. Now, Pathfinder is a book to help students navigate through the civil services main examinations. Um, Now, the situation that actually made that book happen was very interesting, because I had already gotten into the IRS customs at that point in time. I had taken leave from my training to write my examination the next time, which was allowed at that point of time. And so I came back to prepare for my next year's exam. And then UPSC changes the syllabus. The entire pattern of the main examination was changed and revised that year. And suddenly we were all at sea. We didn't know how to tackle the exams. We didn't know what kind of questions would come, because usually the preparations revolves around previous years model questions, etc., etc. Now that whole game was over, so we had to start right from scratch. And so I decided that I would make a little blueprint for myself to study as to how to navigate this brand new revised syllabus for the main exam. And when I showed it to my teacher, Ambassador Divya, so he's been with me throughout the civil service journey, and so he told me that this is actually too good to be confined to you, to just one person. You should actually get published. And then we asked our the prominent publisher in Kerala, DC Books, and they promptly said yes. So here we are, and then I actually ended up publishing a book before I even got into the IAS. And some might call it stupid, some might call it overconfident, but I was just being adventurous is what I would say, because I had the support of all my teachers and everyone who guided me at that point of time. And so that book came out, so that was the beginning, I would say, to formal writing as a writer, as you would call it. So prior to that, as a child, I think I have loved writing, and I have loved, elocutions and essay writings and extemporaries, and I've taken part in all such events as a child. And I remember during my school days in my class 10, I was state first prize holder for elocution and extempore competition, etc. So there have been a lot of such interesting events in my childhood, which actually sort of swayed my interests or swayed my bets towards writing or literature. And again, I thought I kind of carried that love for writing or love for speaking along with me wherever I went. And so it reached Pathfinder when I was preparing for my civil services. And once I got into it, then I also did a couple of books during my training period. Again, the credit doesn't all come to me, because I have only partly worked in those books as editor, and I have contributed some articles to it. So one was this coffee table book called The Indian Woman, which was actually done for the Ministry of External Affairs. So it was celebrating pioneering Indian women at that point of time. So I worked with this wonderful publisher called Wisdom Tree in Delhi at that point of time. And I could actually interact with a lot of successful and pioneering women in the country to tell their stories through this book. So that was definitely an inspiring experience. And apart from that, I also did a book called Brave the Rave, which was about, this was when I was in IRS Customs. We were doing a book on narcotics. So we did a book on that. Now, these two are again for, not really the commercial types. It's more for internal circulation and, the books that you sort of give as gifts from the department when someone visits you and all that. So a commercial book, the next one was something called Applied Diplomacy, which I did, which was a collation of some ideas and articles by my mentor, T.K. Srinivasan, whom I mentioned. So this was actually a gift that I gave him for his 70th birthday, where I took a different spin on diplomacy, wherein I tried to look at diplomacy through the lens of mythology. So it was a very unusual or unlikely combination of diplomacy and mythology that was actually portrayed through the book called Applied Diplomacy. So those were the 4 books, and I am doing one right now, which is in Malayalam, which is in the vernacular language here. It is actually a translation that I have done. It's in the publishing, printing stage right now. Hopefully, we'll get it out by the end of this year. And so this is a book called Dear Diavole, a feminist manifesto in 15 suggestions by Adichie. Now, Adichie is a brilliant Nigerian writer, and one of the more substantive feminists of our times. So this is a very, very tiny book. It's when she says 15 suggestions, it actually means 15 suggestions, but it definitely clears a lot of air about this whole concept called feminism, which I think is the most misused and misunderstood concept in our days. So this throws a lot of light on that issue, and it is actually about how to raise a child who can grow up to be a citizen, who who can hold her fort, and who can treat both the genders with due respect and with a sense of equality and fairness in her head. So I actually read this book while I was pregnant, and I just started doing the translation also during that time. So once I read it and I reread it, and then I said this is something which everybody needs to have a read. And I said children of my state here in Kerala also probably do need to read it in probably language that is closer to their heart. And so I decided I'll try my hand at translation. It's my first project in translation, so I hope it works well. And I have written columns otherwise, apart from books. So I have written a column called Snakes and Ladders to for one of our popular weeklies here in Kerala called Vanita magazine. So I write for them. It was a column for children. Again, how to lead a happy life and how to find their goals and stick on to it, and generic stuff like that. So, and yeah, I write from time to time, and someone asks me to advise. So.
That's wonderful. Donning several hats, and there might be a strong support system when you are young, when you are in the formative age, from your parents especially. There was also some creative background of your
Yes,
parents.
definitely. Strong support system is an understatement. I think I definitely owe it all to them. I think the first time I actually got onto the stage was when I was in lower kindergarten, probably 4 years, 4.5 years or so. I remember my mom actually, it was for a fancy dress competition. And I remember my mom, donning me, dressing me up as Adi Shankara at that age. And that was probably a good start, I would say. And from that point, it started and it's still going on. And I still have their support for everything, including the movie that we spoke about. They they were with me throughout the shoot, and
Okay.
so so everything I do that definitely requires um, parental support or support of any kind for that matter. Both of them are always there for me, and more than being physically there for me, I think the values that they inculcated in me and the spirit that they helped foster in me is what I cherish the most. Because I'm sure all children have their parents around for everything, and but I think the spirit that they inculcated in me in the form of, say, even when you ask, I think you've been saying multiple times about the multiple hats that I don, etc. But to be very honest, of course, I'm humbled by all the words, but to be very honest, I have never realized that until very recently when people actually tell me or ask me, because to me, my parents never told me or pretended that it was something different or it was something which is not commonly done by people. So there was nothing unusual about indulging in a lot of things at same point of time as far as my childhood was concerned, because my parents just made me feel that it was a very normal thing to do. And so I did not really feel that there was an extra pressure or an extra burden or anything of that sort. And secondly, so they just made it look very easy right from my childhood days. So there was no added effort to actually make sure that you find the time for doing this, etc. There was nothing. It was just going with the flow and enjoying what you do.
Natural flow. Yeah.
So it was just a natural flow. And so that was one thing which I think is one of the most important contributions of my parents, my childhood. And second thing is that they would never tell me that no, you can't do this, or you're not fit for this, or something which is negative. If I go and tell them that this is one pursuit that I want to do, or this is something that I want to participate in, now even if it took them a lot of their efforts, a lot of their hard work, or even if it meant that they would have to set aside something else for that particular day to actually take me to that place to attend that competition, or I'm just talking about the smaller things, but all these smaller things actually add up a lot.
Yeah.
So there was, it was like, it was a lot of positive energy that used to come from my parents, I would say. And saying that no, you cannot do that, or you're not fit for that, or no, this is not for girls, or there was nothing of that sort at home, and especially gender constructs, I think, was far from what one would imagine to be in a house where there were two girls. I think there was a lot of empowerment being a woman right from our childhood days, I would say. And whether it be my grandmother, my mother, my sister, and then me. So, all these three women whom I see above me, my grandmother, my mom, and my sister, all three of them are extremely strong women, and women with a voice, and women with reason, and women with independence to make their decisions and choices in their lives. Now, so I think so it just came naturally for me also to follow their path, in the sense of not really restraining or restricting myself because of any reason for that matter, not just gender, but for any reasons. They would always support me when I tell them that I have this dream or I have this ambition, I have this pursuit and I want to do it. So they would of course reason out with me and make sure that I'm doing it for the right reasons, and then they would support me. So,
Amazing. That was a wonderful support system. So it is basically from your, majorly from your mother. The female line that's coming has a lot of influence on you.
yes, as far as the women empowerment thing goes, yes, it is. It's my mom and my mom's mom. It's my grandmother. And again, unfortunately, she is not with me anymore. She also passed away this year. So I think she has been one incredible, strong woman that I have seen in my life, who redefined the concepts of feminism or women empowerment. So my grandmother is not about economic empowerment or financial empowerment that we usually talk about when we talk about women empowerment. So my grandmother was not employed. She didn't own a piece of land. She didn't own pieces of jewelry. She was financially, she didn't have anything that she owned till her last breath. But it was, she showed us that it is about having the courage to call the shots and having the independence to make your own decisions in your life and steer your life the way you want it to. That is actually about strength, and that is about women empowerment. Now that's something that I learned from her, not just from her words, but from her actions and from her life altogether. So, anybody who knows her would concur with me when I say that if she says something, if Subalakshmi says something, that anybody who knows her would actually obey her or listen to her, or, would treat it with due respect. At least, so it's not that, I'm not trying to portray her as a tyrant. She was not a tyrant. She was the most loving woman on earth. But at the same time, her words actually commanded so much respect. And she had the independence, or she decided to choose to be fiercely independent in her life. So I think that's probably the finest example of women empowerment that I have seen. And my mother obviously, was inspired by her and by everybody around her. And I think, my mother decided that she would, not really keep us away from anything because we were girls at that point in time. So my mom was working, and at the same time, for a middle class working woman to actually support her family and to, do good at her work, as well as juggle with so many things at the same point in time. So when your child has got 4 other classes to attend to after school, it becomes all difficult.
Yeah.
So, and my father has been an amazing person all through, and everybody who meets him, definitely goes back a much happier person. So he oozes out positivity at all times and ages, and so he's been really instrumental in ensuring that despite the three of us, so the majority at home was women. So he's been really instrumental in ensuring that there was probably no task at home which was actually assigned to women only or men only types. There was no strict watertight compartment. When my mother is sick or she is unable to cook, my father would get to the kitchen. He would cook delicious food for us, So he would do. There was a constant interaction and a constant equilibrium between the two genders at home as well. So to instill that sense of gender balance in your head at that young age, I think it was both of them that really worked hard. And I would say, as far as my artistic pursuits go, I would say probably the language and literature that my father inspired me and contributed. Dance and song and acting and paint, those kind of all those things. My mom inspired me. So, and yes, my sister also has been a great influence.
Your two siblings?
Yes, I have my elder sister who's in Bangalore right now, and so both of us we are actually 6 years apart. So, but despite that, she's always treated me as a friend, and even now she doesn't really like me even calling her Akka. We call each other by names. So she actually treats me as a friend, and so we always have each other's back. That's to rest of the things are sister secrets.
That's great. That's amazing. So your journey as an officer, all this establishing all this, then there comes a stage where you uh, marry a public representative. Now, in a way, you both are also called as power couple, since he's in the public life as a politician. You are as a administrative officer. So, how did it happen? How did you both come together? And what is one thing that you like him in the most?
Okay, to cut the long story short, yeah, I met him, officially first in a meeting, and I think it was a meeting on man-animal conflict or something like that. So that was a very formal meeting, and we really didn't, speak to each other much other than exchanging glances or discussing the nuances of work at that point of time. But yeah, we did notice each other, I suppose. But since we are who we were at that point of time, we really didn't have the luxury of reaching out to each other at that point, because you really don't know. It's kind of very strange in your head, right? You don't think of dating an MLA at that point of time.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have thought of dating an IAS officer at that point of time either. But so initially to begin with, it is very weird, and that thought doesn't strike you at all.
Yes.
But we just exchanged glances. There was nothing more than that at that point of time. But after that, I think I conducted a health camp in a tribal hamlet which happened to be in his constituency, and it went on well. And I think after that we spoke to each other to discuss some events or some activities in continuum to that health camp. And so when we started talking about similar when we started talking about it, we found that there were a lot of similar thoughts or similar perspectives about certain things, especially we talk about tribal development and health and social sector. And so to actually listen to a people's representative who was indeed so compassionate was very heartwarming for me. And not that I've spoken to people's representatives before that, I'm sure all of them are, and that's where they are people's representatives. But for me, it was the first time I was actually interacting with a people's representative at a at close quarters, I would say. So and secondly, we could actually talk about a lot of things, like say art, or say music, or books. Literature was again one thing that really connected us both. And I think when we started talking about literature and we figured out that we had read the same books or similar books, and we liked similar but yeah, and we liked similar authors, and When we started discussing things like that, I think the element of attraction really started seeping in at that point of time. And we would always say that we are grateful to Milan Kundera because we started talking about Kundera at some point of time, and we thought that was probably the moment when it really clicked for us.
Kundera
And,
is an author.
yes, of course, Milan Kundera is a Czech author, a great man who's probably a non-Nigerian now. And so we started reading about his books. We started talking about his books, and we felt good talking about similar perspectives to each other, or rather interesting differences between each other also. So that's how it started, and then we kind of took it forward. We said that one good thing about actually marrying a people's representative would be that he knows exactly what it takes to be myself at my work, and I know what exactly it takes for him to be himself at his work. And we appreciated each other's work, and we still do. So that helps us be better persons at work as well. So I think that's what partners do to each other, or rather should do to each other, to be able to be better selves of yours with every passing day. And so that's what's happening. And what do I like about him the most? So he is someone who actually was working with Tata Group. He was working with the Tata Trust for a long time. He was working there for I think 7 or 8 years. He's been with them, and he's been working with the social sector in the trust as well. So he's been a social sector yet a corporate guy. So he had finished his engineering and then his MBA from MDI, Gurgaon, and then he moved on to Tata's. So for someone like that who has had that background, to actually step out of that and plunge himself into politics, local politics in Kerala, I thought it was a huge difference. It was a huge jump. Everything changes. From the clothes you wear to to your perspectives about things, probably to how your days are structured, to what kind of work you have to do. Everything virtually changes, and I have found that he's been completely adaptive to changes in his situation, to problems that crop up, to challenges that come by his ways. He's been totally adaptive as a person, and that is something I would really adore and appreciate in him, and I still continue to. So adaptability, that is the key word.
So he's okay. That's something the most important factor for a survival and to succeed. Adaptation. So now you're also a mother. You both are kind of public persons, and you also have the personal life. How do you strike a balance? What is that he helps you in? What is that you help him in? And that, and now you're also a mother. There needs to be a proper balance.
Yes, yes. My son Malhar, he is all of 1.5, just over 1.5 years old now, and he's the reason for all the smiles on my face right now, and he is the center of my world. He's such a joy to be with, and every moment I am staying away from him, actually, I feel that I'm missing out on something, that I'm losing out on him. But yes, I'm certain that my being good at my work or good at whatever I do is definitely going to be something that he would be proud of in the years to come. So when I do something, I definitely have him in my front, in my vision right now. That I'm doing it for him and for children like him of the future. So it's definitely the most, what do you say, life-changing experience, or the most transformative experience of my life would be becoming a mother. Everything changes, I have to say. And slowly you kind of get back to what life was earlier on. But still, it is definitely a fresh you. It is a different you that you face every passing day as a parent, as a mom especially. So yes, we do. It is it is definitely not easy striking that balance as parents between each other, as well as a mother between work and home and child rearing. So it is a tough game, and we are still learning. I can't claim that we are experts in it. Both of us are still learning, and definitely, but in the initial years, at least for us, it is the mother who has more responsibility than the father, and probably the child needs the mother a lot more because you're breastfeeding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is a lot more on me than on him right now, and I think as my son grows up, probably Shakti will have to spend more time with him than I do. But yes, we do share responsibilities. But again, as I said, it is not really watertight compartments. It's not like I do this and you do that. But we probably have some time zones where we try and spend time with our child. That is how we try and balance it. So mornings once my baby wakes up. Time is with it's dad's time before he leaves for work, and then yeah, I'm there all the time. Apart from the time I'm in office, I am there with my child always. So, but yeah, striking the balance is tough. So we are still working it out, and I am sure that both of us, both Shakti and I, are proud dad and mom to Malhar, and all our thoughts and desires and decisions and everything revolves around him right now. And we're very happy about it, and we feel really blessed and grateful for having him in our lives.
Superb, amazing. Now, currently, you are the mission director for Narega, Kerala, and also AYUSH. So, what is that? Uh, what is the mission you are moving with, and the work you're doing in both these departments?
So I have been with Mahatma Gandhi and NREGS for the last couple of years now in Kerala, and Aisha have recently just taken charge. So with Manrega or Mahatma Gandhi and NREGS, I think a silent revolution is actually happening in the country with the scheme. Lifting people out of poverty and improving their quality of lives, and even improving the rural infrastructure has been happening at a gradual yet very steady pace in our country for the last decade. And for me, for once, I can talk from my personal experience in my state of Kerala. What I can say is that it has definitely improved the quality of lives of lakhs of people out here, and the rural infrastructure is also booming. And this is a scheme that actually makes a difference to people's lives. And this is one scheme that has utilized technology to its fullest in the best possible manner. Because, we have something called direct benefit transfer in the scheme, wherein as and when each person completes their day's work, there is a process of a must roll which is generated. There's a fund transfer order that's generated. All that happens within 8 to 15 days, and once it's done, the wages are actually deposited directly in the bank accounts of these beneficiaries through a personal finance management system from Government of India directly. So this is actually revolutionary for all the corruption and middlemen and all kinds of allegations and charges we have seen in our country. To have your daily wages actually getting deposited in your bank account without any kind of tinkering or hampering whatsoever, I think it's phenomenal. Now, when I say it's phenomenal because it's not a small amount. Even for one state of Kerala, the wages is something in the order of 2,000 crores that we are talking about. So consider it for each and every state in the country. And this is massive. And that we use technology so appropriately is definitely laudable. And the third point in Kerala for us is that 90% of our person days are actually generated by women. Now, this is something so touching to me and so dear to my heart, because when we actually empower women, not just through financial empowerment, as I said, they do receive the wages, but as far as Kerala goes, the wages are far less than the regular market wages. But definitely it is improving day by day, and it is definitely creating a change in their quality of lives, of not only of those women but of those families as well. So to have women both financially empowered as well as, more importantly, they are more socially empowered now, because they step out of their household, they sit around in a group, they have other women friends to talk to, they have other men friends to talk to. They discuss problems, they discuss issues. They become aware of what is happening around in the society. They actually even hone their own leadership skills in these smaller groups when they actually work, because we have needs, we have the sort of a work site captain in each team, etc. So a lot of skills are being acquired, not only at work but also as far as their place in the society goes. So that is something very dear to me, and very valuable to me as as a service that I can do to my people here in the state of Kerala. And the third aspect is also that in times of disasters, as the times, as the crisis that we are going through right now, time and again, Mahatma Gandhi NREGS has actually risen to the position and risen according to what time and situation demands, and been the pillar of support for our rural households. When in 2018, Kerala faced a massive flood,
Yes.
almost being called the flood of the century. So even at that point of time, lakhs of people actually came into Mahatma Gandhi NREG's fold and started working, because they had lost their livelihood, they had lost their homes. There was a lot of destruction all around, but despite all that, we could actually bring in hundreds of crores of rupees into these people's pockets, in a timely fashion, because they were under the scheme. So, and also this helped them improving or rebuilding the rural infrastructure as well at that point in time. And again, now when COVID crisis has hit, as we all know, our government of India has actually announced additional package to Mahatma Gandhi NREGs in order to support the rural population that has lost their jobs due to the COVID crisis. So even in Kerala, actually, we have a lot of educated youth. We have graduates, we have engineering graduates who are actually working for Mahatma Gandhi NREGs in Kerala today,
Okay.
which is a wonderful thing in a way that there is. I think it is regaining the uh, dignity for labor in our state and across the country. To say that manual labor is not something which has to be kept away for a certain section of people. To say that, hey, I am an engineering graduate, so what? I don't have a job now. I might as well join, and I'm ready to support my family. And contribute towards our society at this time of crisis. For people to actually come forward and do that, I think is salute to all of them who have done that. And so we actually have around 50 lakh job cards which have been given, which means 50 lakh families have been enrolled, out of which we have several active workers and job card holders as well. So overall, I think the impact has been very heartening, to say the least, and I'm extremely glad that I got this opportunity to serve our rural populace through this scheme.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Dr. Divya, for sharing your personal journey, your inspirations, how we are glad to know the creative side. I'm sure the viewers who are going to watch us through the social media platform, through the live streaming, would certainly get inspired. Even we got to know the nitty gritties, how you could juggle and balance things while enjoying each and every stage and aspect of the these all these hats you're donning. Thank you very much for joining us. Dear viewers, that was Dr. Divya Iyer, a young IAS officer from the state of Kerala, which is also known as God's own country. We would be joining with yet another inspiring individual personality with their inspiring story. Do join us for the next episode. Thank you.